Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another discussion. At last, my internet is sorted. You all know that it's been quite a difficult time the past week, but it's all sorted, and I really hope that this mosquito doesn't bite me, and I hope that you all can hear me very nicely. Remember, my English is bad, and I'll try my best. Unfortunately, Andre can't make it. He's chasing. He'll join us as soon as he can. Um, but it gives me an absolute pleasure to welcome to the stream to help us decide the two winners for tonight, Martin Dudley. Hello, Martin. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks very much. And it's so nice to be here with you guys. I didn't really know about this competition a while back, and boy, otherwise I wouldn't be here. I'd be competing with them. So
Well,
no, thank you. It's great to be here with you.
it's not too late yet. You are more than welcome to join. We are not a cult. We are actually a bunch of nice people that just aspire to be better at our crafts and to help each other to be better.
No,
Let's see if
it's all
everybody is. Uh, oh, they think that I'm. Look at this comment. Thanks. Yes. We'll see, eh? Um, so,
we hope.
Martin, can you maybe give us some background of yourself?
Yeah, no, sure. Gee. Um, First of all, I think the worst thing my parents ever did was to give me a camera at 9 years old, and it was a Christmas present, and it was just a real point and shoot back in the day, and I ran around taking photos, and then after 20 minutes you run out of film, and then my parents realized that this is going to be a very expensive exercise, so over the years I've been fascinated with photography. I'm not a good photo processor in the darkroom, but we had a makeshift darkroom in my bathroom. Go in there, switch on the red lights, and develop black and white photos. Well, we tried to develop black and white photos, and I fell in love with it. And then what happened was, back in the days, photography was so expensive. It was really expensive. So I suppose that's where it's come from. And I loved creative photography and black and white photography. So when digital came out, so that's another whole long story. I couldn't believe that we could take a photograph and see it at the back of the screen. And I said, if they do something with this, it's going to be amazing. Then, of course, the first SLRs came out, and I was one of the first in the queue. And if you compare, if everybody complains today about pricing, my first digital camera was a little point and shoot. It cost me 12,500 rand back then. So cameras today are pricey, yes, but it's not as expensive as what film used to be, and the entry to digital. So that's what happened, and then so I'm more of a creative photographer. I love black and white. I enter competitions all over the world. I do fairly well. I kick some of the Americans and the Chinese butt every now and again. And so I'm more of a creative photographer. I love creating things, images, composites, black and white work, and telling stories in photography. And I don't do this full time. In South Africa, unfortunately, it's not easy to make a living out of photography. It's better to actually sit and own a wine farm. No, or, no, but
Not now.
no, so I'm involved in marketing, and I do get the opportunity through the marketing. I have a division under me, which is the a media division. So I get called in now and again to do photography for that. And everybody says, oh, so it's a hobby. Well, it's a lifetime hobby, because I teach Photoshop, I teach Lightroom, and not just how to do Photoshop. I teach the creative side of it, how we can take an image, look at it, and come out with something, how we can get something out of our mind to tell a story. So, and then into really fine work with Photoshop, and one or two other programs, but mainly focused on Photoshop. Yes.
Amazing. It sounds like you already fit right in because there are a lot of composites. I always hammer
Yeah.
on storytelling about in photos. Like I told you last night, I'm a videographer or cinematographer or whatever the word is for us weirdos. But that is what I do. And unfortunately, Andre isn't here now. But I really hope he makes it. So I think you guys will instantly become best friends.
Yes.
So that is our whole thing, because we have this word game. It tends to go to storytelling and composites a lot.
Yes.
But yeah, I really look forward to tonight. I see that we even have a famous chef watching this discussion now, Chef Tian Langelegger. He's
Oh,
watching. I see that the whole ISO group is already here, and I think if everybody would take part in this, it will be amazing. I think I'm going to kick it off to put the first image on screen. And Martin, if you can, I'll tell you that this is from Michaela Mikamina. The theme for this photo is unorthodox. And this is actually, I don't know if you read her description, but this is a device she has to use every day because of a, a
Elmer.
condition she has. Yes, and she
Yes.
worked it into her photo, which is for me really cool. But
I don't know
I
if
would
it's a
like
self-portrait at all.
it's a
Obviously, it doesn't.
yes,
Oh,
it
is it
is
a
a self.
self-portrait?
Yes,
Why I didn't want to read them, I'm also an honest judge. Every year, we 12 judges chosen throughout South Africa come together. I don't know if people know you can apply for your honors in photography. And people apply now to the Photographic Society, and then we put the panel up. And what we do there is we don't read anything about the photograph. We believe that the photograph must tell us a story. Um, and um, and each person, and I do that with my work. I actually don't even like naming my work. Each As we come up and we see a portrait like this or any image, we'll all walk away with a different story and a different feeling from it. And that story is our story as the viewer. Of course, Michaela here has taken a photograph. I see you say of herself, and but I'm sure she wants us to walk away with our story and what it means to us. What do we see in it? And most probably what I'm going to say, what I see in it, is going to be completely different to what she did. And that's art, is that we all would walk up to this piece of art and say, that's what we feel from it and go away. All right, so should I say something about it?
yes, please.
Okay. First of all, I love it. Actually, when I first saw this image, when it came up, and when I went through the images, the other, and I first saw this image, I thought this was a covert, meaning the masks and all of that. And but now, sort of getting a little bit insight to the artist, there's a lot here. What intrigues me a lot is the two flowers in the mask. Um, she's trying to tell a story that maybe to me her oxygen is her breath, is a lifeline, and this is natural to her. The other thing which is extremely striking is the black and white eyes, or that eye there. So there's something that she's trying to tell us, that oxygen will fill her body with life, and we can actually see this level of life coming through it. But what is incredible about it, even if I might be right or wrong, it's not a guessing game, it's something that we're taking, is she's not smiling, her eyes are dilated, and she's showing that she's battling in the sense of that. So it's an extremely powerful image. And that's the difference between videography and photography is videography, we have a bit of time, even if it's 10 seconds, 2 seconds, to tell a quick story. A photo, one time, one single capture. And I think she's done extremely well and creative on this. I do like the fact that she's in a bath in closed space, got a wall behind her, and I think it's a powerful image. What would I do to improve it? I'd take a little bit off of the top. So I'd have that cropped right down just above the head, just to bring it more into that space. But certainly very different. And from a portrait perspective, it's a portrait, a creative portrait. From a portrait perspective, I think extremely well handled. She's not just a lady in a bikini. She's telling an amazing story. So well done.
Yeah, I also the first time I saw this photo, it's striking. I saw it, I saw it first, and then I saw the the black and white over the eyes, and I saw the. Sorry, I just hear a little bit of a echo here, so my brain doesn't want to talk. So, and then I read the description, and it shook me a little bit because we forget that people have to do things like this every day.
Yeah,
Um,
and they definitely do. Taken image taken correctly speaks 1,000 words, and it does without sometimes even having the description. I haven't read the descriptions for that reason, and you've told me, and then it brings the whole story together in this image. So very powerful, very good image, and with an amazing story to it, which is what photography is about.
yes, exactly.
I love the saying, and I say it to many people. I say, don't take a photo of something, take a photo about something. And this is one of those. It's not just a woman sitting with a mask, it's about a woman sitting with a mask. And that is
Yeah.
very good.
Martin, is it possible that you can maybe just turn your volume down a tad? We just get a feedback here. I see people say that there's a major echo. Just a tad.
Okay.
That's much better. Yeah. Can you
Hold
still
on,
hear
hold
me?
on. I can still hear you. How's
Perfect.
that? Is that better?
That's perfect.
Okay.
Um, we have in these lockdown situations, we've had a lot of photos being taken in a bathroom, and we
Yeah.
know that how difficult it is to take a photo there because of the limited space.
Mm.
And to light the photo is even more difficult because the first thing that I really wanted to see here was a little bit of a backlight so that we can just see the rim around her. Um,
Yeah.
but I know that there's not space, and the way that she used this shadow almost in the
Correct.
negative space uh, from the window, I assume that this is naturally lit as well. Um, that is amazing. I mean, she's
Very
been
much. And I
growing
think
so much in this challenge.
yes, and I think what the photo lends itself to, the photograph that you sent me to have a look at, or the set of photographs, when on close inspection, it is noisy and it is grainy. And some of my fellow judges on the honors panel would actually rip that to pieces because of noise. However, noise is an important factor in photography. If you go look at old black and white, it gives you that grainy look to it. So it hasn't detracted from me in any way. In fact, I think it might have enhanced it. This tight space. And I think, when we come to lighting, if we had all the flashes in the world and set up around her here, I think it would have taken it away. I think that this plain individual in the corner in a bath is, and it's not easy to photograph in a bathroom. I mean, it's not easy at all. And I think that with the natural light coming onto it, a lot has been done here. The only thing, if I can say, that you've got to go back and look at, if you look at the left ear, her right ear to our left hand side, on the tile there's a bit of black and white on the tile, which
Mm.
means that mask that you've used should be trimmed, and that color needs to come back onto the tile. That it's only on the face that this bleakness appears inside the image. So it's gone slightly over the edge. There's nothing hard to fix up at all. Yeah.
You mentioned that you would crop it off a little bit at the top. Now we all know the rule of thirds and to follow your third lines to try to put the eyes on the third line. Now her eyes is on that third line
On the
now.
yes, yes.
So
The eyes are on the there. And look, it's just a preference. Because as probably the author of this photo is looking and saying, "No, I like it the way it is." Of course. However, what I look at in the top of the image, we've only got a photo to work with. We've only got one, call it an A4 piece of paper. And I look at the top and I say, does that add anything to this photograph? And in my opinion, no, it doesn't. So I would take it off. If there was maybe a shelf there or something that would add to this, yes. Other than that, I think what we try to do is the impact of the photograph is what we want, and she is full of impact. So I would bring that line down, because it hasn't added anything to this image. In fact, so yes, even if we talk the rule of thirds or all these rules of composition that we have, I still feel that she would feel more comfortable in that space. We look at a lot of glamour photography, and this is not glamour at all, but you'll actually even see how they cut off heads in that, and that's a big no-no, but it works. So I wouldn't say cut off head, just a bit above it. If you put your hand over the top of that image, you'll actually see it actually would bring more impact into this beautiful portrait.
Yes, I totally hear you there. I wish I could do the whole crop that Andre usually does, but it's difficult for me to figure out Lightroom now, and we got a black screen, and it was difficult. There's another comment. Let's see what they say. They say, I think it's like a brush stroke of monochrome. It spreads across the face intentionally, if I recall. Beautiful effect.
Yes. There's a lot of work I do. We call it partial saturation, where we use black and white and a piece of color or bit of color. If not done correctly, it can be very kitsch because it's been really overdone so much. But done correctly, it's done very well. And that's basically here. She's using that black and white to tell a story, to saying a lack of oxygen. And she's done it very well. In fact, when you look at it, you actually think it's makeup. You actually think that she's put a color of makeup on there. So no, very well done and very intriguing. It puts it into the image.
So this is the next one. This is by, just get my, Taran Goldman. And the theme for this is abnormal.
I mean, look at the story, hey? You see? Yeah. and that's it. We've got one frame, one shot, and very, very good. And a lot around this image, a lot of, I mean, look at how the author has gone to the time to actually put the story on the newspaper. We can actually read on this newspaper a whole lot about this particular photograph, the virus, and is the killer virus here, you know. And isn't that how we all feel around the world? Is when you open up the news, you just want to shoot yourself. I mean, that's just the way it is. So, I mean, very, very powerful thing. And then you put her right up. But the mind of the author is showing us here that this is quite a wealthy individual. Look, he's got lemons on the table. He's got a huge amount of pancakes ready to be eaten. He's got his squashed fruit, what's this called now? Fruit juice, and what's it? I'm trying to think of the fruit. Yeah, and he's gone to a lot of effort to show us that this is a businessman, somebody who's more higher up. You wouldn't find a plate of food like that or a layout like that at breakfast for just normal people. And of course, he's reading a newspaper in the morning. So a huge amount of thought, processing has gone into the image. And then, of course, if the author's wife is like mine and we throw paint all on the walls, we all be in trouble. But a lot of impact, a lot of storytelling in the photograph itself. And it's something you could actually sit back and say, wow, you know, there's a big storytelling part of the image, definitely.
What will you fix or do different in this photo?
And please, you know, just like the last photo and all the photographs I'm going to call, it's my opinion.
Of course.
It doesn't mean that's right. You know what I mean? It's just simply what I would do. And most probably when I say it, you say, nah, that's fine. I'm not saying that my opinion is right. The thing that took me away, when I saw this image, I said, brilliant, lovely, is the writing, is the killer virus here. I love the heading and all of that, but we've lost something on the newspaper, meaning the newspaper would normally say the Bild or the Star, and I know what the author's done here is saying, no, I can't use that. But he could have put in Lilt or Ma or something like that, with a slightly different, and brought the killer virus down as a proper heading. And I think if you went and you did that by having, I know he's got the extra news at the top, issue 3. So he has put a bit there, but I would have a much bigger newspaper heading at the top, just to tell that it's more of a newspaper. So I'm looking at the image, and what has happened is that when looking at the image, I'm looking at all this beautiful stuff that we've mentioned, and I'm thinking, what is wrong with the newspaper? Oh, is the killer's virus here? That should be a little bit there. And that's taken my attention away from it. We should just see, and I mean, look at the detail he's gone to. Shit, I'm not going to say it, we're not allowed to, and crap. And there's a write-up there. So he's actually gone and made this whole front page, or had somebody do it for him or her, so that we have this wonderful story. So it's just a comment. That's something I would done. I would just simply go put a name of a newspaper in the top there to bring it down. Other than that, I looked at the base and the crop on the bottom plate and that. And into the newspaper, we can read it, and this beautiful story of when we open the news, doesn't matter who you are these days, you could literally go and commit suicide behind it, or just explode with all the negativity that's going on. So that's the way I see it, is I see very happy in the front and terribly miserable, negative in newspapers and the media around the world. And that's what he's telling the story about, I think. Who knows? Who knows? You must probably put it in the write-up, but I haven't read that. That's what I'm getting out of it. For old-fashioned back wall. Look at that. I mean, the netting down at the bottom. It's like Omar Sahais, that color, and that it's like typical there. So very well thought out, John.
Yeah, I also think the styling is superb in this photograph. The first time I saw it, it put a smile on my face because the storytelling is next level for me. I really think the storytelling is spot on. And we all know Taryn by now. She used her mouth a lot to express exactly how she feels, and I think she did this perfectly in this photo. I am with you on the editing of the newspaper. It's also something that caught my eye immediately, and it's just the color difference between our right side of the page and the left side is a bit distracting. We can see the edit there, but they went a lot of work in this. And Martin, you have to remember these participants, they do this in a week. So most of them, they shoot it and they edit it that night because we all have jobs to do and things like that. So she might have ran out of a little time. Sorry, there's a little bug here in front of me. It's bugging me.
I see it flying with
there. So I think Taryn did a fantastic job, and I think the storytelling is exactly what it should should be. It's this normal life with this nice breakfast, and as soon as you open the newspaper, you commit suicide. Amazing photo, Taryn.
Very good. Yes, look, I do a huge amount of the editing. I do all my editing, and there are images that have taken me a month to not just edit, but to get the right layouts and all of that so that it works. And who knows at the end if it actually does work? We don't know because we're just working in a vacuum space. But yes, I certainly would just go work just on a newspaper top, and you got a major good image.
Yeah. This is the next photo. This is done by Adrian Frost. And of course, the theme for this one is a proudly South African snore.
Yes, because of the gnaw, hey? Yes.
Yeah.
A very different portrait. It's not just somebody, sitting there. There's a pose there. The moustache is obviously for snore, so that's exactly what he wanted to tell. And I actually like the coloring and the grunge of the image. So it wasn't like 10 tons of skin smoothing on it or anything like that. It actually, I think a lot of contrast has been put into the image. nice vignetting around it, and it goes straight through to the snore. We know exactly what the author is talking about in the image. So yeah, a nice, powerful, looking at you type of portrait, definitely.
And what would you do differently?
Sure, it's hard. Yeah, because of it just being this item, I don't think there's anything more I could do to this image to say this would make it better or worse. I'm looking at the crop, that's all fine. Maybe a little bit down at the top, it doesn't bug me at all. So the image, as for what it is, the snore, you've told your story. You've come across and you've said, this is what I wanted to photograph. If we looked at this image and I said, what is the photographer trying to photograph? I'm sure we'd all agree that was the snore. So, yeah. So I just see it as that, as it's the image of what he wanted to depict. And there's not much more I think one could do to improve it. I'm just looking at the sleeve at the bottom. No, I'm really trying to find something wrong as far as the portrait is concerned. Look, obviously subject matter. He's up against some amazing photographs so far. So subject matter is going to play a part in this competition. What is the author trying to say? And here we've got a moustache against some very, very good photographs. So of course, subject matter here might be a bit lacking in comparison to it. But I think on the day, on the job, and your editing, very, very big. Well done.
Yes, I also think Adrian did a fantastic job over here.
Yeah.
The composition is spot on. The pose is spot on. This is a self-portrait as well. We have somebody to join us. I think let him just find his he's here. Here he is, the man himself. Hello, Andre.
Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry I'm late. Really sorry I'm late. How are you, Martin?
Hey, well, Andre, yourself.
Lekker, man. Lekker. Thanks for...
Portrait of you.
What did I miss?
You missed the first two images now. And
okay.
So we're still on the third one. We're here with Adrian's image now. So it's my turn to talk about this one. This time I'm before you, Andre.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, and look already, Andre, we see you all every week, and somebody's already say you're looking sick AF, eh? He's working again. He's not stressing anymore. He's working.
Yes. I'm doing this from Alan Sayers' man cave.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. So on this image, I think, like I said, now the composition for me is spot on. What I do miss is a backlight, a little rim light. On that, I know that everybody doesn't have that to their disposal, but if in the best case scenario, that's what I would get is a little rim light, and the vignette sort of creates this halo around him. I would have feathered it out maybe a little bit softer, but the catchlight in the eyes are great. Even the fact that the snore isn't exactly symmetry, the symmetry in the moustache isn't exactly right is perfect for me. I think, yeah, this photo definitely puts a smile on your face.
Yeah.
And now we can listen to Andre, like we throw you in the deep end here, Andre.
That's so good, man. I love this portrait. I know Adrian. He's a moose like a bra, and for me, this self portrait is like it brings his character out. It's very cool. Things I love about this shot. I really love that catchlight. I love the little strip he's going on there. Like that gives it such a vibe. I would have maybe liked a little bit of a hairlight as well. Um, the color for me is red. Because the grading is very natural, and I quite like that about the shot. The only thing that bugs me is if you look at for a portrait, everything is in the eyes, and the fact that his hands are, I would say, a third of a stop or half a stop over his face is drawing tension away. And that for me is something that bugs me about the shot. It's something you can very easily fix and post just with a gradient coming up. Really dig the emotion, love the mustache. Yes, like a snore. Um, I would have maybe wanted to see the shot a little bit wider, so we can actually see the side of his head, and the crop on his hands is just a little bit too tight for me. I would have just given it a little bit more space. It's very, very close to cutting right on the limb. But other than that, I really dig it, man. It's very cool. Something I would have maybe tried is just to like his one. You can see his one eye is a little bit bigger than the other one, and I would have actually enhanced that with the emotion, because that would have balanced the snoriki out. That's not symmetrical, if you know what I mean. So yeah, but I mean, again, nitpicking. Really red shot. Lekker, Adrian, you lekker bra.
Yeah, I really enjoy that one. Okay, so sorry, Andre, I don't have the whole awesome Lightroom setup, so I can't do the cropping and all
No,
that.
man, don't worry. Don't worry. I dropped you. Sorry, bro. Yes.
I'm glad you're alive.
I'm alive. I even have a little beer here next to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's always time for beer, bro.
So, Martin, this one is by Jared Bartels, and the theme is, I think you say inorganic, inorganic. So, obviously, a composite. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, this is a lot up my street. I enjoy really chopping images up and putting things together. So yes, a lot of work. This is not easy stuff to actually sit down and work all of these things out. And I think very well done. You can just see the ad campaign for a movie in this image, yeah, so a huge amount of work done. However, what and I'm not negative on this side to the artist or anything. Um, I used to do a lot of work with stock images, and that's how I taught myself out of many, many years of working with it. And eventually got to a stage to where every part of my image is my work. Meaning, and I can't say that of the author, meaning this could all be there. But one has got to look at it and say, if we are taking other images and putting it together to make up an image, of course it's your work. You've done all the time and effort to it. But it's so much rewarding to actually be able to capture all of your images, every single part of it. So you see me running around, you'll actually see I've got plenty of these guys. I actually run around and take little photos, small things of little parts of my images that were built. But yes, a lot of work. I love the pose. It's not smiling. It's like my iRobot. I do feel though, if I had, sorry, before I get to negatives, I love the fact that the chin piece at the bottom is actually opened up. Instead of it just being tucked in, because it's actually taken away from the uniformity of everything in there. Love the overlay of the little grey electronic bits on the hand. So a lot of nice work done on it. Yeah. What would I do differently? Yeah, I think the background is too light, especially where the lights are going down and the background. I feel if we could darken that down a little bit, it will pop the give us a bit of more dimension. I love that it's all faded and blurred. So I think that it was a bit darker. I find that those lights in the back distract from it just a little bit. And I think if that was darkened down, it would pop more. I do then also feel, and I understand where the author's coming from, is the piece of the face lifted up, the one eye. It has to be like that in the sense that you're wanting to show the face opening. But I find it's too open. If it was moved a little bit over to the left and a bit down, however, then we're losing that vital part of the blue and the red circle, which is the electronic piece of the eye. But just a little bit of working around that position of that eye, I think would be a lot better. I love how the cheek is sticking out. And that's what I do different. I'll play around with that eye a little bit and darken the background. Yeah.
Awesome.
And the model is used here is, by the way, very good for the photograph. She's not just an absolute beautiful bombshell. She actually looks a bit, in that sense, her facial features fit this image very well.
Yes, this is they stand together as unique perspective photography. It's a team that's been with this challenge since the beginning, and
Sure.
Jared is the photographer and his girlfriend. And damn, I forgot her name now. If somebody can just remind me. Oh, damn it! But they've been killing it every week. Yeah. Andre.
Yeah. A lot of time and effort has been gone into this, and it's not easy. It definitely is not easy. As I say, I've got a few folders, award-winning photographs, which is rare, and I've got a massive file 13, which is where a lot of the stuff just doesn't work, which is in your mind trying to get the stuff to work out. So a lot of effort and a lot of work to and look at the storytelling. I mean, good storytelling impact in the photograph as well.
Absolutely. Andre, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, it's a great image. It's very striking. I like conceptually, it's very strong. The lighting as well on her is amazing. I love her eyes. It's got energy. You know, it's working. One thing for me, but again, it's very subjective. Like, I don't like the fact that she's got hair on the one side of her head. It kind of throws me off a little bit. I think if it looked like the other side of that piece of eye coming out, it would have just cleaned the shot up a little bit more and made it a little bit more futuristic. The grading for me is nice. I like that it's all pale and stuff. I don't personally. I don't mind the background because I feel it suits a futuristic vibe. You know, I agree with Martin. That piece of head and eye, if it wasn't that far out, I think it would have worked a little bit better. But I do also understand why he did that because of that circle in the electronics. You know, to match up with the eye. But I would have wanted to see more electronics on that inside, just to liven the shot up a little bit. Love the chin. The crop for me is a little bit too tight. I would have wanted to see almost up to here, because the magic about this image for me is those little details, those little lines, and especially on her shoulders. That's what makes it for me. Something that bugs me is the eye, the piece of the face that's coming apart, where that gap in the eye is. That I don't know, understand why it's there, but visually I don't know if it's working. And on the other side, where that piece of, what is that, metal coming into the eye, I would have wanted a little bit more tension on that. Almost as if that side of the face is starting to pull apart, if you know what I mean. But I love the use of lines. It's really, really great. yeah, Jared, well done, dude. Um, it's always so shit to talk about these images because they're all great, and then you need to go like, shit, I would have done it like this, and blah blah blah. It's very easy to sit here and say those things, but it's an amazing shot. Well done, dude.
Absolutely. The first time when I opened this, I was blown away that something like this is part of our challenge and done in this week, or in a week. It makes me it makes me smile. Yeah, I really like this. For me, it's a great image. I do, however, also feel like, Andre, that gap next to the eye is a little bit distracting of the piece that's coming apart. And maybe it's just the storytelling. If the eyes had a little bit of a hint of a robotic sense in it, especially when it's coming apart, it would have maybe tell the story differently because it's already broken up. I think if there was like maybe a little bit of an electronic feel in the eye, it would have tell the story a little bit better. But I mean, geez, I only thought of that now after I've seen this image how many times. I mean, so that's obviously massively nitpicking. There's something weird on her right ear. I don't know if it's an ear bell or hair or something there. That's a little bit distracting for me.
I think it's a flesh tunnel.
Okay.
That actually also bugged me a little bit, and it's just that the difference in color there and a bit of texture.
Almost looks like a bug sitting on her ear. But I mean, other than that, Tracy and Jared, man, you guys are awesome. Thank you for sending or sharing your work with us. It's spectacular. Okay.
I think if I can add something, sorry, guys. I think, of course, because this type of lighting, and I absolutely love the eyes because she's got beautiful eyes, you know, but I think maybe in looking at the background and you're seeing those shapes coming down and across like this, it would have maybe been a cool idea. You never know the circumstances, but to actually light her with LED panels, you know, and maybe create a shape like a triangle in a pupil, in her eyes, you know, and that would have tied the background in a little bit more. And I think it would have given it a little bit more of a futuristic vibe. Not that there's anything wrong with this lighting. I'm just thinking, like, you know, if you wanna enhance it and take it further.
Yeah, I think also that the authors out there, and I mean all of us as photographers, is the crit is as what we would think, and but like I mentioned the eye, and I bet you the author sat and moved that eye around to every position to find the best possible spot. And it's just simply that it's our opinion, not, as I say, that it's always correct, but just looking at the image. But we can't get away from the amount of amazing work that has gone into it. And I love to say to people, let's not look at what's wrong in an image, let's look at what's right in it. And you know, and we all do as artists and photographers, we do go and nitpick. And I mean, how many times do we only nitpick our own work? We look, oh my God, why did we do that? It's just little tips, I think, that we could add possibly that that would make it. But amazing, a lot of work and beautiful work done.
One thing I would have done as well is just to blur those edges a little bit more. They're just a little bit too sharp. And I think that would tie everything in a little bit more. But well done, my bro, Jared.
Right, let's get is it the last one for this top 5? I think so. Yes. There we go. This is done by Devin Lester. He's also been killing it in the competition. And this theme is abnormal.
When also looking at this image, I think this is where it's all going, or where is it all going? Whoever knows in this game. But isn't this an incredible family portrait? This is what I believe is family portrait stuff. Not everybody just sitting straight looking at a camera. And I think the author here has gone into. Each one of these things is separate. We've got Dad, which I presume there on his PC, and who knows what he's looking at with that smile on his face, his cup of coffee. We've got the dog howling, the kids screaming, and this is family. This is the way we live, and he's managed to capture all of that into this little piece of one single photograph, and very, very well done. Look at this suit and the pajamas and the slippers. So there's a story there. The author's trying to tell us something. I can see. Let's look at that. He's actually must be. He's a businessman and he's zooming a business meeting during the lockdown. If you look at the pants, so he's relaxed at home and he's in a Zoom meeting with a tie on, like, boss, I'm doing my job, and we're having to live. So he's telling the story of COVID and what we're having to live through with the kids at home and being businessmen. All in one photograph, and we haven't even read up anything, or I haven't read up anything about this image, because they did put it there. I love the lighting. I think that this dark vignette at the back, the lighting on top of it, then of course that subdued lighting between the dog and the kids, and it's lovely and soft. And I'm trying to find something to say, what would I have done? I think slightly wider crop, just coming past the dog on the hip and slightly past the little girl, might have done more. However, I do also enjoy this cramped space of covert that he's tried to put across. Love the back smeared wall, and everything's working. The angles, and I think a great image, really well done.
I agree,
Absolutely.
man. Yeah, this is a really cool shot. I'm with Martin. I love the lighting is really great. Things that bug me a little bit, I think the crop is too tight. If it just widened up a little bit, I understand, obviously, there might have been like space issues, all that type of stuff, because this is shot very wide. And for me, this focal length works on everything except the Porsche. That throws me off completely, because that angle, it almost looks as if that car is about to fall off the face of the earth, type of thing. I know it sounds very weird what I'm saying now, but that's the only thing that's kind of bugging me. I would have loved the little girl I understand how difficult it is to work with animals and children. So what you pulled off here is incredible. But I would have loved the little kid just standing up and pulling the ears. And I think it would have created a very nice, almost like triangle to Dad type of thing. So you just fill that space. Personal, yes, but really nitpicking, I would have wanted to see less light on the right-hand side of the image, so it balances with what's happening on the left. And I think at the moment, the focus, it's a bit difficult to find your focus point, but if you let it like that, or just brought in a gradient on that side, we would have gone straight to that and then started wandering around the image. Something like, but that's obviously just a personal opinion. I feel the dog, I wish the dog looked more at like a 45-degree angle. It looks a bit very unnatural, but again, it's an animal. You don't know what you're gonna get. I wish he rather looked at the kids, and yeah, that's pretty much my vibe. I love the fact that it's comical. I love the lighting on the MacBook. I think it's insane. I love his expression. Um, the black mug doesn't work for me. Uh, I wish he used a white mug or beige or maybe even a red in this case to tie it into the little car. The black is just disappearing, and I would have wanted to see a little bit of magic coming out of that cup. It would have added just a little touch. But other than that, dude, whoa, incredible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Devin, we've seen his work, and there's a lot of thought behind it. And Martin, that's Devin sitting in the photo, so he's doing the styling and everything himself. I don't know if he pressed the shutter button or if it was on a timer again or something like that. But that's Devin sitting there, and it's a amazing photo for me. I absolutely love the practical light coming from the MacBook. I love the playfulness. I love it that the dog is part of the normality in this sense, and the whole we get the lockdown feel immediately. You have to do your work while your kids are pulling ears, and your dog got there, and they want to play, and you have a meeting, and maybe the coffee is already cold, but and he's putting on this happy face. So um, I think it's amazing. For me, I do agree with the almost the vignette feel that we have here. That we could just balance it maybe a little bit. But I mean, for me, with my knowledge, yeah, no, this is incredible photo.
Devin can light, man. He knows his stuff. It's very good, dude. Well done, bro.
But what's incredible, isn't it strange that so far out of 5 photographs, am I right, we've had 3 self-portraits? I think you said the first
Yeah.
one. Yeah, three self-portraits in 5 photographs.
That's amazing, huh?
Myself.
I gave up on self-portraits a very long time ago, man. Yes.
It's funny.
Now I have to figure out how I'm going to show all 5 images. Oh, that's not good.
Pierre, maybe just flip through them, man.
Yeah, I can't if I choose one photo like that, I can't press down or anything on it to go to the others. So we have that one,
Yeah.
and then I'll just have to you just guys have to bear with me. Then this one from Michaela, and we had.
This one didn't come up. I don't know.
Oh, didn't it come up? Maybe
No,
just
no.
killed it too quick. There's Michaela's one.
Yeah.
We have, oops, the Snorri. And we have Taryn's abnormal as well. And then, oops, the last one, I think is the last one. Did I show all 5 now? Oh, and obviously Devin's one, the last one we discussed.
Yeah.
So, Martin, here's the difficult choice for you now. Which one do you think is the winner of these 5?
Yeah. See the portraits. You know, That's like going to a nightclb and five beautiful women walk up. So you want to go home with all of them. No, so, you know,
Yes, calm down, Martin.
down. No, but you sit with that situation, and I think each one of these authors need to be praised for their work. I don't know. Tomorrow night, I think if you ask all three of us which photograph we could change our minds because it's how the mood is that we feel here. Uh, I'm torn between two images. The one, the story, and the other one, photography. Um, so, you're sitting there and you're saying, which one? Because sometimes some of the most horrific photographs come up and they just touch you, and they do something special inside of you. And you actually look at it and say, was it a good photograph? No, it's actually what the story told you and how the story was inside that image. I mean, that little girl running down in Vietnam was one of the world's most famous photographs. It's not the best taken photograph. It's the story that it holds. So I'm torn between two, but they're all good. But the two images I like is I love the one with the dog and the whole story of COVID. That one I love. I think that was Kevin, if I'm not mistaken.
David.
And I love
Yeah.
Michaela because that image as well is wrenching. It's just something that is so real to me. And although maybe if we looked at it, it's not necessarily. So those would be my choice of two, but I've got to choose one. Sure. And it's
Yes.
a photography and not storytelling competition. So for
So
me,
is this so this is exactly what happened last week. It was between Devin and Michaela.
oh no,
You guys off
really?
again. Yeah, no. Yeah. And very different images.
I don't know your guys' choices. You guys have still got to choose. But I would say is Michaela's image just sort of touched me, and I, without you even explaining, I could literally see the story in it. That's how strong it was. Okay, I went on the COVID theme that oxygen and our breath is that, and then afterwards we were told that that isn't okay. So I've got to choose one. Michaela, if your image didn't have the grey going onto the tile, I must probably go on for yours. So I'm going to have to go for Kevin's because it's really a beautifully put together image, telling an amazing story. And I'm trying to find fault with it. And Michaela's one, beautiful. It's everything that I want to see in the image, but the grey on the side has favored me to this one. Okay, so that's my choice.
So you chose Devin. And look at Michaela. Yeah. And then this is Michaela that just posted this. That again, Devin, you and me. It's amazing. Congratulations, Devin. I think I'm going to quickly open up the other images so that we're already an hour in, so that I know Martin still has a big job this weekend or for this weekend.
I can work till 12.
So now we're in challenge number 13, and this is for our theme hot. So that was the word, and this is the first image, hot headed by Taryn Goldman. Again, top 5, Taryn.
Okay. A very, very strong impact on it. Once again, all about story. In the photograph, I see it as there's a lot going on, and I love the pose. I love how we've got the crop is all worked out, fantastic, and yeah, so a very, very nice storytelling image. And what I liked about the pose is this sort of tilt in it. It's sort of like that cliche tilt on the photograph side. I enjoy that. I do find though, okay, the negatives is there's a lot going on in the bottom part, and then suddenly the top right is just absolutely clear. I would have either liked a few speckles there and maybe less on the one side. So I think that's negative. However, sorry, I'm allowed to say what the overlay that you put over the photograph, which I believe is these specs, has moved. If you have a look in the bottom corner, left-hand side corner, you can hover. You'll actually see that the overlay back, and it's got quite a horrible mark running down the bottom left-hand side. It's not very visible here, but it is on the big image that you sent me on the bottom left. That the overlay is just slightly moved over. I know it's a terrible thing that actually happens when it does that, and you don't normally pick it up. But either crop it in a little bit, get rid of that, or just go back and move your overlay back into position. But a nice, a beautiful storytelling, lovely image. The bright spark on the left-hand side there, on the left in the head, I find a little bit too bright. It's taking away that, and those two sort of bright ones. I'll trim them down, but I definitely put a bit more little fireworks in the top side, and yeah, a little bit on the top because that's sort of a bit blank. Lighting amazing. I love the colors. The blues and oranges work so well together, complementary colors. And, yeah, lovely.
Awesome.
Andre.
I think the moment I saw it again, I was like, it's a very striking image. Really like it, and working with flames is not easy. I love the color. I agree. I agree with Martin about the balance. There needs to be more of those speckles on the top right side. I'm not a fan of the pose. I would have almost wanted my subject to lean into camera so you can get this fireball going, and then it's not really about their body. And for me, it's just way too chilled. I don't know. It definitely, obviously, personal taste. I don't like the hoodie. I don't like the styling. I would have rather gone with a blue hoodie. Would have lost the shirt, and maybe mess it up a little bit just to get more of a vibe. But again, that might have turned it into something completely different. But for me, the magic is in the fire. So I would want to emphasize that by leaning into camera and bringing that out. I think it's a really, really cool image. I mean, I don't think there's anybody in this community that saw this and went like, "Holy shit, look at that!" So it's very cool. So whatever I'm saying now is just that's my personal opinion. You're really onto something really cool. I think you need to explore this a little bit more. I wanted to mention, there's a photographer called Carl Thompson. He's amazing. And he did a series like this with like burning heads, and it was shot in landscapes. And Taryn, I think you must, if you don't know him, go check his work out because you're really onto something. Well done.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, the first time we saw this, this photo is on fire. It is definitely really, really good. For me, the layering, the layer of this sparks almost, because it's all of it is out of focus. It sort of it takes my attention away to the lightheadedness that should have or the hot-headed vibe to it. If some of it were a little bit more in focus, that you can actually feel like it's sparking from the head, it might have helped a little bit. And that corner that doesn't have anything is a bit on the downside. But geez, man, nitpicking all the way. I didn't know how the hell she did this photo, and then I saw the behind the scenes. So, um, yeah, for a moment I thought like, did they really do this? You know, so that's how good this composite is, Darren. You fooled me completely, and the way that I don't know who's posing underneath there, the way that how calm they are while this is happening freaked me out completely. Um, I think it's a great photo. I think it tells a great story. Um, I do agree with both of you, but yeah, well done, Taryn. Thank you. Your work has been really been amazing and such a pleasure to look at.
It's quite funny when I first saw this image. I did something about 2 years ago, not of course the paper bag, completely different with lighter fluid, and it went very well. The ignition, the photography worked out very well. It was the extinguishing that we had a serious problem with the model screaming around the studio now. So it's okay to take the photo. It's how to put the fire out that we didn't work on. But no, no, things go wrong on the shoot, sure, but yes, they can certainly go wrong. But no, obviously, no, I really enjoyed it. And what I love about this is, isn't it incredible how photography, although I mean we all are doing it, is it's becoming not what we do in cameras, becoming what we do in our minds, and how we can portray that through our cameras. And that's the incredible part of a lot of the work that we see.
Yes, absolutely. I know Andre worked with fire as well a few times. I don't know what
I
his
love
experience
burning shit,
is.
man. Absolutely love it.
What's nice is when the model runs down the road on fire, you don't need to pay them.
I won't do
Oh,
that
yeah.
tomorrow.
Guys, look here. Taryn says, we did have a small issue putting out the fire.
Don't think
Yeah.
that's all. We think, wow, beautiful flames.
That's the behind the scenes. Where's the behind the scenes of that?
So here we have Jared and how can I Tracy, I believe, yeah. Jared and Tracy, unique perspective photography again in the top 5 again, and this photo is called trichotomy. Do I say it right? I was struggling with the announcement as well.
Yo, I can't help you with that. Martin, help us, please.
No, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to go there. But yeah, I mean, also very, very well done here is that it's sort of running on the theme of hear no evil and see no evil, speak no evil, with the same model. And once again, the insight of, obviously it wasn't all shot at the same time. There's 3 different shoots here, but have a look at the cleverness of the photography of the back person that is actually leaning over. It's not just 3 straight shots. It's really been worked out quite well how it's been put in, and that line, the elbows. So yeah, a lot of clever thought is going into the work, and really insight into the details of what we need to get. I think it is 3 separate people. It looks like it to me. I mean, the same person. Obviously, just now the author writes in and says no, they triplets or something like that. But it looks like the same model being used in 3 different shots, being put together in a very, very well. I do find, although the author might want it that way, I find the lighting a little bit harsh. I think a little bit softer, and I'm saying, and that is obviously the gold on the hands is highly reflective, and it can make a nightmare of any photographer. And I find that they are a bit bright on the hands and on the arms there. And I would have gone for a little bit softer. Who knows if that would have worked out a bit better. But yeah, I like it, and maybe I'm looking at. I might have cropped in even tighter, just to bring it in there. But other than that, I love the style and the idea of it. Nicely done.
Yeah, look, this is really amazing, man. Jared, well done, dude. There's not much I can say about this image, to be honest. I agree with Martin on the arms. It's slightly over. It is a little bit distracting. Um, something that that bugged me a little bit is your model. Well, the same model, but the subject right on top. I would have it. It just like her head is slightly off to the one side, and I would have wanted to drop her chin down a little bit, and I think it would have just tied everything in a little bit more. It's really nitpicking. Um, and then from the middle subject to bottom, if you look at the arm area, it's very weird for me that the arm is just disappearing. There's a gap kind of there. I know it's a shadow. I do know that, but it's weird. In a way, I almost want to push some light in there so you can get a little bit of detail. Otherwise, it breaks the image apart a little bit, and I think everybody's going to be like moose surprised in what I'm about to say. But I really want to see this in black and white. I'm really not a black and white guy, but this image in black and white, I feel that's the vibe. And I would have enhanced those hands and make it dark. Yeah. One other thing, the crop is a little bit too tight for me. On top of the head, yeah, I would have just allowed a little bit more space as well as at the bottom of the frame. But yeah, dude, I can't say much about this. Incredible work. Well done, bro.
Yeah, I agree. I also almost fell off my chair here when you said black and white. Um, we all know how much Andre loves color, so that was that was
Maybe I just have a problem with green. I don't know.
Maybe. Look, for me, this is so well thought out. How they planned this to do these poses correct. There was a lot of planning in this. The way that the hair feels like it's continuing all the way down, the way that the top model is a little bit brighter than the bottom, closer to the light source. All that has been really thought out well. I don't mind the green and the fact that she also has the green lips. It for me it works. It's almost it gets my attention to the faces, and obviously the see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. That yeah, I think it's thought out really well, and I think this photo can go to stock, definitely. It can go up in their house, definitely has to go up in their studio to show the quality work that they do. I think for me, if there was a little bit more of a rim light, it would have had that separation on the back towards the black background, but it doesn't bother me that it's not there. I agree with Andre with the chin of the top model, maybe slightly down because both the bottom ones are a little bit more down. Would have worked, but it's difficult for her because she's closing her eyes. She don't know where to look. Oh, we lost Andre there. I'm sure he's going to be back. But yeah, for me, yeah, this is a great photo. I really think this is awesome.
You know, I know, like Andre was saying about the top model and the little, it's incredible these photographers come up, a chef comes out with a beautiful plate of food, and he puts it down, and we got to shoot it. And the photographer now takes some breadcrumbs and he throws it onto the side of the plate, or on or some spices. And the chef goes mad. We've almost destroyed his beautiful gourmet meal or dish that he's sat hours preparing for us to do a photo shoot with. And I think sometimes in an image like that last one is that that slight movement of the head being off center is actually what makes the photo real. Is what actually says, like I turned around and said, hold on, is this 3 separate models or is it the same person? It is just that it's not absolutely perfect, which has actually made me think it could be 3 separate people. So sometimes the greatness in an image is actually its fault, which actually leads you to say, wow, that's actually quite incredible that it's not actually perfect, which I think in that particular photograph gone past is possibly the case. That slightly person moved at the back there, slightly out of line, is actually, I think, is added possibly to making it look more real.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, the human element in that photo is amazing. Now this one, this, I don't know how on earth. This was done by Natalie Field, and it's called photocopy.
Yeah, I think that's a valid thing. I look at images and say, how did they do it? Because I want to go and do something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I get cross with myself because I'm saying, wait a minute, you're too busy looking into the image, finding out how they're doing it, instead of actually looking at the image and seeing what does it mean and how does it. Very cleverly put together, and it gives me the feeling of a reflection on some surface or in liquid. But then when you look at the hair says, no, I'm not a reflection, and the face says, I am. So you're looking at it, and the mere fact that it's very gutsy photograph because it's presented totally upside down, and we're actually looking at it and saying, yeah, shouldn't it be the other way up? But no, reflection would be upside down. So the author certainly thought about it and said, should I take a chance? This type of image is one of those, I've got quite a lot of them, where you either really like it or you don't like it at all. However, looking at the image, would it do, it's very creative. The eyes aren't there, which are the part to the soul. But it gives you that very moody sense. Don't we all feel like this? I mean, that's the way I get it. It's actually a photograph of sometimes our feelings, some way of that, but very cleverly put together. What would I do different? I don't know if the smear in the eyes is correct. Meaning, the one eye is totally visible, which is good, but we could move that turn a little bit down or a little bit up. I don't know. I do find it does work, and it is very, very creative. So I'm not quite sure what more I would do to this image. I'd play around with where that swirl is, but it could have been done on liquid. We don't know, but well put together. I do enjoy it.
Yes, well, we know it's been done. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to look quickly for the behind the scenes of this one, if I can find it. So this, you won't believe it, but this is what she did. I'm just going to remove this one quickly. And Natalie was our previous judge, and this was her first entry, and she came with a banger. So there's a scanner.
Amazing. Yo, I
believe that.
That is so
never in a million years.
Yeah. I love that. Yo.
Andre, I think we're going to Isn't it brilliant? We're going to go buy scanners. Get rid of all the lighting. We're going to go buy scanners. We can go to
I don't even,
I don't believe it.
No, don't show the behind the scenes. Yeah, sorry, guys, but I don't know. It was taken by a camera. It's just boggled me completely. Andre, I would really love to hear what you think about this.
Yeah, man. Look, this is insane, and anybody that knows me knows I love like experimenting with stuff like that. So seeing that behind the scenes just blows my mind. The color is incredible. The fact that you got those blue tones, but yet that nice skin tone going is incredible. Even the lips, the tone of the lips is perfect. One thing that I love also, I just wanted to say, I love the flow, how the hair is just coming forward. It's like Martin said, it's almost like liquid. It's one of those images where you don't have a clue what's going on, and that's what you can stand in front of this thing and try and figure it out, and you probably won't. So for me, this is next level work. There's something, but again, just personal taste. I feel that the shot is slightly off, and I don't mean center it. I kind of feel it just had to move a little bit more to the right, because like that, the black hole type of thing, that's almost like the eye. That's got so much visual weight that it's okay, it's off center, but it feels like it just needs to move this way. I would have loved the hair to actually just a piece to run through the frame, so your eye can go from the face all the way through the frame. And that's honestly all I got to say about that. This is incredible, man. Like, honestly, Natalie, yo, thanks for joining the challenge.
So I quickly went and I looked on Facebook, and I saw that it's Natalie that posted this. So she says it's all done in camera.
That
For me,
dude, that's mind blowing. That's honestly that's mind.
I don't know how to put a crit on this, because this is like over my head type of photography. I don't know what to do different, because
I'm buying
don't
a
even know what
scanner tomorrow.
I'm going to do the experiment right now.
Show us. Yeah, no, it's incredible work. Sure.
And if I was Natalie now, because it's totally unique. This is, I mean, come on, it's really. I would actually go back to a scan and do another 2, and put them as a set on a wall, because that's where they deserve to be. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're going to get 3 different images. No ways that you can do this the same thing twice. But I would go make another 2, just slightly different, and put them on a wall as a set. And I think that'd be, the only thing I can criticize is that I'd love it to be on my wall, and I would have loved to have that.
Yeah. I would also love to see this in print.
It would be beautiful.
So we have this comment where they say, I really loved both the photocopy entries. There was another photocopy where Mika almost made top 5. Martin, we had such a difficult time to choose a top 5 for this this hot. All the entries were so hot, it was really difficult to choose a top 5 for them. I totally agree that Mika's one was also great, but just didn't make it. So I'm going to move on to the next one.
Sure.
Oopsie. What did I do now? Sorry, guys. This is a rookie error. It's because I'm not as good with the whole Lightroom thing. Obviously, if you give me Premiere, I'll kick your ass.
Calm down, boy.
So, okay. So this one, this was done by Chris Dos Santos, and the theme is hot dog.
Yeah, no, it's, I saw this image when you sent them through to me last night, and I was going through them, and yeah, simplicity, minimalism, and the choice of colors that you managed to get the walls and the mustard all to work, and the color on the dog. There's a lot of uniformity going on. I love the paw up there. You know, I've got a fully trained border collie, and even to try to get her to take photographs, and you know, she'll do anything for me. As soon as I pick up the camera, it runs with the tail in between the legs. So it's not easy to shoot dogs or anything like that, and takes a lot of patience. Um, so, yeah, that I like. It's one of those. Does the top add to it? Is there just too much negative space on it? I love negative space, but you know, is it maybe taking away from the image? You know, if we prop it down, would it add more? I think personally, I would have, but that's me. I would have come down a bit more on the wall. I would have moved the plate closer to the dog, confined it a bit. But as presented, I do enjoy it. The lighting is nice and soft. The image is handled quite well. Maybe I would have gone a little bit darker behind the dog, causing more of a shadow, because I find that the wall distance and the counter or the table here a little bit distracting. So I would have maybe created or got a bigger shadow a little bit further off of the wall to create that wall distance being a bit further back. But other than that, I'm really nitpicking. I do thoroughly enjoy it, and I love the blues and the yellows with the plate and that. So still a lot of thought going into this. A lot of color work and idea thinking to get it like that. Well done.
Yeah, I love this shot. Like, this is up my alley. I know Chris very well. I love the use of color. This is his dog Gizmo. What a legend. And yeah, man. Yes, this is, for me, the concept is very cool. The use of color is amazing. I agree with Martin on the crop. I almost feel a square crop in this instance would have just tied everything together a little bit. I would have I would have made Gizmo a little bit bigger. That's one thing that bugs me a little bit. I think the scale is, and it's a weird thing to say because I don't know how big the dog is, you know, but as visually, I feel he should have been a little bit bigger. Love the use of yellows and blues, the complementary colors. One thing that throws me off is the black serviette. Would have used a white one. It would have tied in way more with the color spectrum. Now you've got blue, yellow, black, and I think if that serviette, and it's something so small, if that was white, the attention would have been emphasized on the hard dog. On the styling side, even though I think I love minimalistic shots, but I would have loved to see that classic like wimpy mustard and tomato sauce bottle like somewhere there, you know, like, but I know you like nobody, you don't just have access to those things, but I think it could have added. Something that bugs me a little bit is Gizmo's brow on the other side of his face, that little white. And that's obviously what he looks like. But in this image, it almost, just seeing that little bit of white makes it look like an HDR. And it's not, it's very difficult to explain this now, but if that piece of brow was cloned gray, it would have brought everything closer together and tied it in. But other than that, yes, dude, love it. Lekker crisp, my bro.
Yeah, look, for me, yeah, sorry, Martin, you can go.
Now, I'm just saying, isn't it incredible how fine photography is? We spend hundreds of rands on backdrops and tablecloths and everything, and the 20-cent serviette is buggered up here. Not mess it up, but it just shows you how the thing. The serviette, I bet you they're also sitting and saying, geez, if you only know how much trouble I had with the backdrop and the tablecloth.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
That's
surely, that's the
yeah.
way this is, you know.
But I
For me,
love
this
Gizmo's expression is amazing. Yes, dude. That's like
yeah,
I want to be no now.
Yeah,
this
how well
photo.
trained is my puppy would have chomped that hot dog up quick. You know, it doesn't matter how he knows this.
My
Yeah, so,
my feel for this photo is like, oh man, I want it. I want this photo, and you know what, it it gives me that Wes Anderson
right.
feel. Um, that it's like everything is perfect, like where it needs to be. Uh, I think this will make a brilliant. I don't know if this is a bad to say for photographers or whatever, but I think somebody like Typo will eat this photo up to put it on a birthday card or something like that. This out there type of poses. Um, I really, really, really like this photo. The only thing that bothers me a little bit is because it reminds me of Wes Anderson, is that the table line is a little bit skew. And if that was straight, for me, it would have been bang. But um, it's still going bang for me. So, Chris, you don't even need to listen to me. This is spectacular. Really, really, really well done.
Yeah. Gizmo actually has his own Instagram page. So
Oh,
Chrissy, drop his link there. You guys must follow him. Let's make him famous.
yeah,
I'm not even joking. He does it. He's a
yeah.
rat.
Right.
Unreal.
Let me get the last image for the night. And this is also a participant that she has been quiet for a while. I hope that's because she's been busy with work. Um, but this is done by Kirsten Ferreira, and the theme is Hotline.
Yeah, yeah. You know, when last did we actually see these phones? And so the props here are very good. You must have got a hold of a collector or something to get all the phones together, and then finding the right model and typical blonde with the red hair, the phone, nicely set up. The red and the blues. So a lot of thought, a lot of going together once again in an image and thinking it out and setting it up, getting the phones there, and yeah. So what would I do different on this image? I find the lighting coming through a bit strong, or you know, it's a little bit strong on the top there, and I would have gone a bit softer on my lighting. I'd have certainly have moved my model more over to the left. I find it a bit too central. But other than that, I enjoy the shot. I love the storytelling in it, the hotline. I mean, like you said, am I right in saying that this competition you had a week to get
Yes.
these shots right? And I mean, yes, like that's very short period of time to come up with idea, concept, shoot. It's a lot. It's very very quick. But and here we have that type of thing. Love that you've got three dominant phones. Yes, there is four phones, the one where underneath there, but there's three dominant. So you've used nice working the composition of the image out well. And yeah, I love the different colors in the photograph and very modern and neat. And yet that modernness also takes us back to the 60s type of era with the phone. So I do enjoy the image very much. Well done.
Yeah, I think it's a great shot. I dig the lighting. Something, the emotion, obviously, hotline, it makes sense, like you're getting that across. There's something, if you look at the background, it's got that shiny, I don't know what you call that fabric. It's a nightmare to work with that fabric. So that's something that bugs me a bit because yes, I don't know what that shit is called. Somebody tell us. But it creates weird. You can see even on the image, it almost looks like it's kind of pixelated, and it's that shine, that weird shine it's got. So I would have just changed that to something plain fabric. The color, I dig the reds, really love it. One thing that it's so difficult with these things, but looking at the shot, like the black phone kind of takes away from it. It's got too much visual weight. The fact that the black phone is not from the same era as the other two phones is a little bit of a weird thing. I like the cable. I don't like the cable like running through Kirsten's arm here. That puts me off a little bit. I think a shot like this, if you go for something that's very monochromatic, then, but we don't know, we don't know the situation, and do these guys have all the ammo to create this? But if it was more monochromatic, like Chris's shot, yellow on yellow type of vibe, and red on red, I think it would have worked a little bit better. And then kind of coloring all the phones in red. Yeah, but great shot, expression-wise, you get it. I like the focal length as well. It's very cool.
Yeah, I think this is spot on. The pose that Kirsten, that's also self-portrait, Martin. That's Kirsten in the photo. I think it's spot on. It tells that story, that whole kitsch, that whole common thing of a hotline and busy operating and hello and all that. I think I think it's great. The even the makeup works well. The background, for me, it adds to that kitschness. I do understand that for photography, it's really difficult to light it correctly. I think the color works well. The phone that she's hugging, the red phone, I understand why she's sort of trying to hide it. I think that's a I would have, yeah, maybe, I don't know if it was on the table, because it's so, the color matches the tablecloth in her dress so well that you almost don't see it. And I do agree that the old phone is maybe a little bit too old for the era. But I enjoy this. It is definitely that 80s, early 90s feel. I think she nailed it. The light on her left side, our right side, is maybe on her face is maybe a little bit too bright, but I don't really, I don't know if it bothers me. But if it was maybe a little bit softer, it would have been a little bit more gentler on the eye. But all in all, I think it's a fantastic photo.
I think also importantly for us all to understand as well is I like to look at an image and say, where would it fit in? Because then it sort of gives you a different sort of feel to what, to try get into the mind of the author. For example, in a stock image, this is, I think, do very well as a stock photograph. I really do, because, you can see this as an advert is still connected to Telkom. And I can just see that from a new network provider say, are you still connected to Telkom, or whatever the case might be. Great.
That's right.
This would be the pamphlet. This would be out on their media network if we looked at it in that way, because that's what it's telling me, is it's a great ad photograph in the sense of how it's been put together. Then we say, would this be a good fine art? No, of course it wouldn't be. But so a lot of times I try to find an image is where would we use it, and then I sort of get into. I think that material is called crimpolene, I'm sure. Because it sends light everywhere. I mean, geez, I had a roll of it. I thought it would work well at a shoot. Oh my goodness! I tell you one thing, it was you pulled your hair out of. But still, yeah, I enjoyed it. Well done.
So, Martin, now the difficult part comes again. So obviously this was one photo, and now I'm gonna go through the tedious part again to bring up all the other photos. Just have to find my way around here.
So am I right that at the end of the competition, all the winners of each one put together, and then the best image is going to be chosen?
So all the top fives of all the competitions, that will be in the bucket to win the X-T4. So not even the winners. No, not a lucky draw. It will be judged. So this is just it's Martin Dudley's winner for the week, and then we'll so
separate the lens cap, the strap, and we give everybody a prize of the
We should have done it like that. 1 week you win a battery, the battery
lens cap.
the lens cap.
What's that?
I have the same problem with lens caps. What's lens caps?
Yeah.
Then we have Natalie Fields' photo. And I'm doing this the wrong way around. And then
Kumpiri.
Hey. We have Hot Headed. And then last but not least for entries for Hot. Thank you everybody for joining us. I can see the numbers are picking up again here towards the end so that they can see the winner. So that's the last one from Jared Bartle again, and that was trichotomy. Why did I do this to try to say the word again? So, Martin.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not you, man.
Yeah.
And you actually feel guilty. It's like I should have worn my mask so nobody recognized me. I'm sure one of the 4 or 5 guys find me in the street and blitz on me. Or next time I had a photo shoot with somebody, and they also say, "Oh, you bastard!" Okay, I'm going to give you my 2 images that I really enjoyed, and then out of that, I'll choose. Hot-headed, I think, was really good. I really do, and I know that layer's moved over, and I think I don't know how the competition works, but I think if it's in the draw, I don't know. My recommendation is to speak to the author quickly just to move that layer back, because it's not so bad. So I like that. The other image I liked was the I've forgotten the thing.
Natalie Field.
Yeah, that's
photocopy.
I think. Okay. Miser. Okay. Not in a million years, if you gave me that image and you said to me, Martin, pull off that shot, there's no ways I'd have ever in my life thought of a scanner. I don't know, Andre, if you guys feel the same with me. No ways. I actually thought it was a Photoshop technique with many different ways. So I think because of the uniqueness of it and the way it's come about, I'm going to go with that one. So I'm going to go with the...
Boom!
Hey, Natalie, first time entering, and you won this week's competition. I'm sure everybody will say that this is great. I'd love you to come back to us to tell us exactly how you did it, and to actually use Martin's advice and do 2 more. I think it would be amazing if the 3 would be next to each other. But hell, what a difficult top 5 this hot was. I mean, all of it actually. This whole hour and 50 minutes. I see Ramaphosa is speaking. Most of you probably have that in the background. See that the schools will be closed again. So yeah, good luck to everybody.
Bro,
Thank you,
no,
Martin. Huh?
I say no bad vibes of hierdie show nie.
No bad vibes, yeah.
Calm
No
down.
Thank you, Martin, for joining us with your wisdom. Dankie, Andre, that you came through. I know it was a difficult day for you. Thank you so much.
Sorry that I was late. Thank you so much, Martin. It was awesome, man.
Martin, we
Dankie,
would love to see more of you, and please, if you want to join the community, you are more than welcome. We have a WhatsApp group, we have a Facebook group. The 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 information that goes around in this group is amazing, and the input that everybody gives and the amount of effort they put in every week is just beyond my beliefs. I never would have thought that I would sit this time of year doing this. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Chris Vessels, for introducing us to Martin. And and I hope everybody has a good night. I have to take food to my wife quickly in the hospital. She's not in hospital. She works in the hospital. So I'm going to say goodbye to you. Thank you. The new word will be announced on Monday. Andre and I will choose the top 5 of this week. Sometime he's on the road, busy shooting some highly secret stuff for the FBI or something. Nobody knows. And
What are you?
I'm doing this whole presenter thing, So
yes, but you're talking bullshit.
That's what they all say with highly secretive stuff,
The clink moves are fancy, though. I love it. Keep going. Keep going.
Thanks all for watching. Thank you, Martin. I know you have a very busy night still ahead. Good luck with that. Please keep us posted of this honors award, which we all would love to see. Yeah, cheers and good night.
See you.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Oh, I'm still here, but I'll just close now. Cheers.